For people moving towards the end of life, a personalised approach gives them a voice and influence over their own care. The Living Well scheme tries to achieve this by recording and sharing needs and wishes in a simple one-page profile. Simon, who has a life-limiting condition, is developing his profile with care worker Liam.
What about when we're doing your personal care? Like, a lot of time taking over?
I like to explain things.
Explain things.
I think it helps the staff a hell of a lot.
Simon can articulate what he wants clearly.
I love having takeaways. Basically the things I are allowed at home.
Ellen, who is 98 years old, cannot communicate quite as clearly, but staff have taken time to discover and interpret her likes and dislikes, which are recorded on her profile.
I love your beads. Where did you get your beads from?
I had them. Give them to me.
Being there, being able to support people to really sort of feel in control, feel that they understand exactly what's going on at any point in time, gives people that sense of security where actually that's probably the most crucial thing for people who are approaching end of life, because it is this big unknown. And that comes down to the basics. When am I going to get my tablets? When am I going to get my meals? When's someone going to be coming in to me? When am I going to see my daughter? Those kind of things.
Staff at the Bruce Lodge Care Home in Stockport use the Living Well tool developed by Helen Sanderson Associates to help improve Ellen's quality of life.
What we wanted to do was try and think about how we could move away from traditional mechanisms of care, if you like, where all of the power is retained by services and professionals, and try and move to a situation where people had a much greater say over how their lives looked or the treatment, care and support. We've developed a one-page profile that clearly says the things that matter to her, what are the things that are important to her, things that must be present if life's to be as good as it can be. Sometimes Ellen will become quite low and she might shout at you that she wants to die. So what it also clearly tells you is to best support Ellen, sitting with her and having a chat and reassuring her and having a cup of tea and a cream biscuit together will actually help to lift a mood. She loves a bed and she'll tell you that there's nothing wrong with having a nap every day at 98, and she goes and has a nap. And staff complimenting her and telling her, you know, how lovely she looks, having her hair tied up with a bobble and her hair plaited. All of these little things just add up to make such a huge difference in terms of Ellen's quality of life. Quite hot, Ellen.
Collecting information is obviously helpful, but it's useless unless it's shared.
The reason why we need to share it is that actually there's no value in having an end-of-life care plan that sits in a folder and is sort of tucked away. If when it comes down to it and we get to the last few weeks, even the last few days, no one really knows about the wishes of that individual.
In Hull, service providers are using the Living Well tool to improve person-centred care towards the end of life. Tracy Meyerhoff leads on end-of-life care for Hull City Council.
In Hull in particular, I think one of the reasons why we needed something to focus on around end of life was it wasn't unusual for people to have to, say, move on to a different care setting if they were at end of life, or actually receive support from health professionals rather than social care. We wanted to give staff confidence. The way we approached this was we trained health and social care and voluntary staff together. So we wanted to share our learning, so it was around, if you like, sharing what we can do in social care at end of life, but also listening to our health colleagues about what they can provide and how they can support social care staff.
Robert is 35 years old and has a life-limiting condition. A person-centred approach means that his mother Joyce and the manager of a local respite centre, Catherine Spivey, meet regularly to refine his Living Well plan.
What I would like to do today, if that's okay with you and Rob, is just to review what we've done on a good day, bad day, just to make sure that we've captured everything in there. We share the care of Robert and we want to be part of that, but that should be for everyone. People are all individuals. We have people here that come and spend time with us at Penang that have conditions that are life-limiting, and we want to make sure that they maintain that independence, that they have a say in the way that they're being cared for. It's important to them that they have the things done the way they want them to be done, whatever stage they are in their care. Is there anything else in there that you would like us to include?
Well, the most important we've covered is the body brace, which you do have other clients here who have postural supports. Is that correct?
We do, yes, we have.
Yeah.
We actually have the postural management plans in place.
Yeah.
At the end of life, people need to have control. If we're having control for living well, then that is part of keeping that control. It's about having a say. It's about people recognising good days, bad days, and what's important to them.
For Robert's mother, getting consistent and high-quality care for her son is the biggest benefit from a more person-centred approach.
The consistency for Robert is everything, because as long as he's talked to and he's told what's happening, and the social side of things with the staff, just passing the time of day or doing things with him, is simply what makes Robert's life better, because he's such a happy, sociable person.
You've got a water gun in your hand. Yeah, I know what you were doing with that water gun.
He's our child, we love him to bits. We want him to stay at home for as long as we can physically care for him. That's what's going to happen. But with the support we can have, it will be everything to us.
There's been lots of discussions about, when does the end of life sort of period start? I think more increasingly we're recognising that the need to discuss death and dying is a much broader one, and that actually we should all individually start thinking about what we want at the end of life way earlier than we might like, actually. It's really important that we start thinking this through.
Recording what matters to people in simple and straightforward language helps to ensure individuals stay at the centre of their care now and in the future.
In social care, you could go into the hospice or into the hospital and take with you your one-page profile, and staff in the hospital setting would know one-page profile. We know what that means. We know that they've looked at what's important to somebody, and they know that they've looked at what good support likes. So what we expect to see is, if you like, the recognition from the hospital staff that this is an important document. It's very person-centred to that individual, and all we ask them to do is read that and act upon it.
To embed this learning and tackle challenges across the authority, key partners in Hull meet regularly to ensure a focus is maintained on a person-centred approach to end-of-life care.
The meeting today was a partnerships meeting. One of the good things that group does is meets and, if you like, discusses what some of the barriers could be, and how we can overcome those, and then we can take that back to our organisations and say, these are some of the things that we're being told is causing problems. How can we overcome them?
What actually happened? What happened when? What did that journey look like? And what are the opportunities for learning? We've got a really good action plan that's come out of that.
It's about seeing beyond the illness sometimes, and seeing beyond the disability, and that actually there is still a person there, and still a person that wants to have a fulfilling life in whatever way they choose.
For Simon, the ability to influence his care is crucial to living the life he wants.
Well, they help me have control by allowing me to do what I ask and what I want. And I enjoy it. I enjoy the banter with the staff. That's mainly the main reason. Because I always have a laugh. Every day if I can.